Mr. Reynolds, I want to tell you, you have managed to do something that I have not seen done in the 5 years I've been here. Peter Welch is one of the more level-headed, reasonable-minded, one of the more decent human beings that you will meet in public service. You have managed to even get him upset. Getting Mr. Cummings and I upset is not as much of a challenge. Getting Peter Welch upset is, and I think what upsets him is when you have a fact pattern of someone spying on another person while they are taking a shower. You don't need a policy change, and you don't need a new memo. You need handcuffs and a trip to the sex offender registry. That's what you need. So, Ms. Martin, you said a couple of things in your statement that resonated with me. You said it is a deep, conflicted, and risky decision for me to come forward and speak up today. And you said many women feel shame and fear of coming forward to report misconduct and cannot bring themselves to be the ones who have the difficult and painful task of speaking up. Here's what I want you to help me do. I want the fear and the difficulty and the pain to belong to the perpetrator, not the victim. So I want you to tell us as much about your fact pattern, your story. And I want you to stop and cite all those instances where something more could have been and should have been done. And do it on behalf of the women who maybe don't have the ability to speak up like you do.
Thank you, Congressman, for this opportunity. It is a very painful and conflicted position that I'm in right now. This happened. I was a victim of Peeping Tom at Grand Canyon in 1987. It was a very difficult and painful experience for me. I reported it to 2 supervisors immediately that first day, that I was able to positively identify a park ranger in uniform that was peering through my bathroom window. I reported it to 2 supervisors, visibly shaken. It was very, very difficult for me to do. It was very embarrassing. I didn't think anybody would actually even believe me that something like this had happened to me. I was given options. I could say nothing and move on. I could file an EEO complaint or a criminal complaint. I had to think about that for a couple of days as to how I wanted to proceed. I was just starting my career in the federal service in my early 20s, and I just did not want to make this an issue. I just did not want to come forward and admitting a complaint like this early in my career and be labeled as a troublemaker. In the end, what I agreed to was a conference or a sit-down with the 2 supervisors that I reported this to, along with the perpetrator. He apologized to me. He assured me that this had never happened before and that it'll never happen again. And so for me, this has been with me my entire career. And so when I think of zero tolerance, I think this is where this was the hardest part for me, it just did not feel like zero tolerance for me. I've had to live with this a long time. This particular individual continued to be moved through the Park Service and just recently retired. So for me, I believe that this was the tipping point for me to come forward and tell my story, that this is why I could no longer remain silent. There's a lot of other women out there that I represent that these very same things have happened, or very similar things, and they just fear that management will not take action, and then we become victims again for coming forward.
So the perpetrator went on and finished his career with the Park Service and is now enjoying the perks of his retirement?
That's my understanding.
Well, I'll just say this. You should never have to choose between your career and justice, ever. You should be able to pursue both of them with all the vigor in the world.
We will make America great again.